What's going on, you all? Welcome back to Crypto once again. So, this is something which happened once again, right? We were talking about how this retracement down here could take the price action all the way towards the upper side. Guppy retesting the 3-2 extension right here, and we are right here. We did close the weekly candle below this one. So, am I trying to pinpoint a top right here on this price action? Not exactly, but potentially yes, there are chances that Bitcoin could be topping out if we just take a look at the zoomed out picture. Right now, this is something which I've been talking about extensively on this channel right here, that how you create the first bounce all the way towards the 3-2 extension from the bottom side of this entire guppy band right here, right? Every single time, guys, every single time you have this interaction all the way towards the lower side of the guppy band, and then you have the retest all the way about your 3-2 extensions, and then eventually you come down back again, right? Similarly, if we just jump back into the bear market from 2014 right here, you see this bounce coming from the lower side. It took the price action all the way towards the upper guppy at first, and then the 3-2 retest right here, and then down we go once again back to the weekly 200 moving average, and then getting reaccumulated. And guys, you know the history, you know the deal. Yes, the price action bails out everybody after some point of time, but essentially if your macro picture is turning to be bearish and your first bearish leg has been of a magnitude of more than 55% to the downside, essentially all those 55% down moves have taken the price action even further to 70 to 75% corrections, right? So for this one right here, if we talk about the top side and the bottom side, essentially that is the 200 simple on the weekly time frame itself, this is going to be a 70 to 75% correction if we talk about this time frame as of now, right? But this is rising, guys. This one is climbing exponentially with every single weekly candle closing like this above the guppy itself. This is rising. Essentially that means that our support is going to the upside, and if we just keep on hovering sideways above $30,000 levels for let's say a couple of months or something like that, most likely this moving average will catch up to the previous all-time high, which is going to be at $20,000 flat, and that could reinforce our $20,000 zones with multiple confluences, guys. And essentially if the weekly 200 simple is able to catch up to $20,000 Bitcoin, that could be a good indicator, guys. That could be a mega massive humongous giant piece of bullish buying indicator right here, right? So let's be patient, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and guys, you know the deal right here. Until Bitcoin is closing weekly candles below $58,000, our trend will not revert. We will not talk about exponential moves to the upside for all the way about maybe $1 million Bitcoin, something like that down the line. Just let me just take a sip of water right here. क्या चल रहा है भाई? Okay, alright, so until this support is getting reinforced by the 200 simple moving average itself, most likely we could be speculating on the price action staying above the guppy itself, from being supported from the bottom side. And guys, guess what? You know what? If we keep on maintaining these levels for the coming weeks, maybe above $42,000 Bitcoin itself on a weekly closing basis, most likely this moving average catches up all the way towards the 618 extension out of this entire bullish leg to the upside, right? I'm talking about this particular level right here out of this entire COVID capitulation. I'm talking about 618 retracement all the way. All right, I think I'm getting something wrong right here, most likely, because it's supposed to be $27,000 Bitcoin. I did put the Fibonacci levels in a completely haywire, wacky way right here. All right, there we have it. The 618 extension somewhere alongside your essentially 28,000 regions as a whole, right? So my best guess would be pulling this moving average all the way towards at least the 618 retracement, and considering this entire zone, guys, believe it or not, considering this entire zone as a huge buying area, guys. Huge buying area, right? Now this could be big in range. I mean, this is essentially 20% range for you guys, but in the bigger picture, this area, this entire zone between your $27,000 levels and your $20,000 levels, once it gets reinforced by the 200 weekly itself, is going to be your massive gigantic buying opportunities, guys. For me, yes, certainly yes, I'm going to be putting a lot of money, most likely something which I can't afford. I'd be putting down with Bitcoin, I guess. Not really, guys, not really. I've done that a couple of times, and whenever I'm overexposed in the market, I would essentially every single day wake up from the bed and feel like vomiting, right? So don't put yourself into a situation where most of your hard-earned money is onto speculative assets, and every single morning you wake up with a scratchy head and a little bit of dizziness and a heavy feeling up your head. You don't want that, guys. You don't want that. That's kind of like a REKT behavior for any investing purpose, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. So essentially, start scaling into Bitcoin with the money that you can afford to lose, guys. Now, like I keep on saying this thing like a old radio which is gone completely haywire, speaking this thing again and again to you guys, that don't put the money that you cannot afford to lose, right? This is what our market is about. Hell man, any market, guys, any market, even stock market, any indices for that matter, if your money is in the market, that money does not belong to you, it belongs to the fucking market. And it takes one single candle to wipe out the gains from previous 10 years, guys. That is something which happens in stock markets. Sometimes it happens in Bitcoin, but it's not 10-year worth of gain. It's kind of like 10 months worth of gain which gets shaken out in one single lane up. Obviously, guys, the volatility matters in Bitcoin land is completely different right here, but the point of this entire video is not to get chopped out right here between this candle and that candle right in the weekly time frame. The point of this video is that the time to scale into Bitcoin is coming close, right? It's coming close. And essentially when it comes onto these levels, I don't want all of you guys to get scared, guys. I want you to take chances in your Bitcoin investment portfolio onto $20,000 levels, which is another obvious level, guys, which could come into fruition or could not come into fruition. Hell man, we could bottom out right here. We could have bottomed out right here around $30,000 levels, and maybe we could be going all the way towards $300,000 levels as well once we take down this high right here onto $58,000 levels, right? But until we are doing that, until Bitcoin is doing us a favor and closing weekly candles above the 58,000 zones, most likely we get dragged down all the way towards 20,000 Bitcoin, and most likely we get picked up right here. That, I mean, guys, essentially losing $20,000 levels would take price action all the way down towards these areas of liquidity, which is going to be $12,000, $10,000 Bitcoin, and well, that's kind of getting way far ahead of ourselves. So we're not going to talk about these levels. We're going to be putting a lot of focus into $20,000 Bitcoin in the coming days and potentially months as well. All right, guys. Now that's been the long-term analysis on Bitcoin. Real quick, let's jump on to the small time frame hocus focus and let's see where Bitcoin is trying to go towards, right? All right. So on the spot markets, on the Binance BTC USD pair right here, we see the rejection with utmost clarity happening onto the 3-2 extension right here on the weekly closing basis. Now, is this a bearish indicator? No, guys. No. Your momentum is to the upside. Your weekly candles are telling you obvious things that yes, your strength did come from $30,000 levels, and it is still having that momentum to push even higher, guys, even higher on the weekly time frame, right? But if we jump onto some small time frames like the 12-hour itself, you can see that yes, we are facing some rejections onto these levels. Essentially your $42,500 bear trap that happened here and that happened here as well could potentially happen once again onto these levels, right? But this entire structure on the 12-hour time frame is going to be bullish until we take these levels to the downside, guys. Now, this is going to be the same thing which I talked about on the previous videos on Bitcoin itself, which is going to be $36,000 flat. You don't want to see any 12-hour candle closing below these price points. If you do that, you're going to be getting back into shit and piss, most likely back on all the way until 30K, and eventually try that bear trap all the way until the 6-1 extension right here on to $27,000 flat, and then attempt another push to the upside. All right, I don't understand why this thing is so laggy. I guess I got to put my computer into performance mode. Come on, perform for me. Okay, all right. So one more pattern which has been formulating right here for a very long time is this squeeze right here. I mean, essentially it's not a squeeze, but it's a broadening channel right here. Okay, so let me just get rid of this guppy, which is kind of making things difficult for us as of now. So this is a broadening bottom, guys. This is a now essentially I most of the times, essentially, I'm trying to tell you guys that 60 to 70% of the times, these broadening patterns from the bottom are not bullish. They are not bullish, guys. Essentially, if you want to, if you want to be reversing from any bottom formulation, a double bottom would be a better option for any reversal trade rather than expanding piece of price action right here. This is not bullish as a whole, which could cause price action coming back down all the way towards these levels and maybe extend all the way towards the 786 as well, down all the way towards 27,000 Bitcoin. But broadening patterns off of the bottom or off of the top right here are essentially not bullish, guys. Now check this one out. this entire pattern of the top was a broadening wedge, right? This was a complete broadening piece of price action. You see this base broadening to the downside and this one broadening to the upside, and essentially your price action resolved to the downside, right? Similarly, we're looking at a similar situation going on onto this level as well. We have a broadening kind of price action as a whole, guys. We are not talking about the extreme small time frames where your breakout could take place. I'm talking about your general price action layout, which is telling us that this is again broadening, telling us that there is not a lot of strength to push the price action all the way towards $50,000 flat, essentially, as of now. But we could still get reaccumulated alongside the 21 exponential on the 12-hour time frame and push through these levels and attempt a bounce all the way towards $50,000 coming pretty soon, right? But if we talk about the 4-hour time frames, we can see that the momentum is waning out. And guys, look, the only reason why I'm extensively blabbering about Bitcoin right here is the fact that this has started formulating a trend below the 21 exponential on the 4-hour time frame, and most likely this piece of price action is going to be reflecting on major crypto assets down the line, right? Now essentially today and tomorrow is where you would find a resolution to the upside or the downside, but this one has started putting a trend below the 21 exponential. So essentially that means that we don't have a clear directional bias to the upside anymore. Most likely it's going to be a consolidation to a very, very choppy environment on Bitcoin itself. And in an environment which is Bitcoin dominant, which is still Bitcoin dominant, I would be putting a lot of weight into this price action rather than any shitcoin for that matter. Because guys, look, I am going to be conservative about my equity until we are clearing $58,000 on Bitcoin to the upside. It's pretty clear, guys. And look, what is this? This is just a 40% gain, guys. We can talk about Bitcoin jumping about 1,000% in one single year. We can simply cut our greeds for a 40% range, right? And maybe think efficiently about this entire price action until we are resolving this one to the upside. No humongous, massive, mega, ultra gigantic bullish trades to the upside, right? It's going to be a conservative behavior. And most likely, look, guys, this is something which I'm telling you, but you will see this in the price action yourself. You can see if the price action goes on to any resistance point, it takes a lot of time for Bitcoin to clear those levels. And this is what happens when most of the market participants and most of the traders are having a conservative behavior as a whole, guys. Remember. Don't go by the mentality that everybody is trying to short the market, so I'm going to long the market, guys. No, essentially just try to catch the momentum. Pick the train which is moving in your direction. Don't stand in front of a goddamn moving train so that you get killed, I guess. Don't do that, guys. Know where you want to die. Know that where you're going to die so that you don't go there anymore. Just it's as simple as that. And this piece of price action, guys, this resistance right here, I don't certainly want to jump into a 10x long leverage position on Bitcoin when we are right at the resistance, right? I would want this price action to resolve some for maybe today and tomorrow, and maybe eventually head to the upside. But essentially, guys, this pattern as a whole is not that bullish. That's going to be the conclusion on Bitcoin itself, and we're going to be taking a look at Ethereum real quick right here. So completely different kind of price action happening on Ethereum, and we are still trending alongside the 21 exponential like a beauty, guys, like a beauty. So last video on Ethereum was somewhere alongside these levels. I remember it was somewhere alongside $2,200 levels, where I was talking about the fact that how we can still head to the upside, clearing this price point and maybe taking the price action all the way towards $3,000 in the coming days as we keep on trending alongside the 21 exponential. And guys, this has been as clear as it can get. This has been a no-brainer trade for Ethereum as well, right? Just a simple trending motion alongside the 21 exponential, guys. It's a complete no-brainer. Although, what are we doing right here? We just print in a bearish candle. We just print in a bearish engulf candle right here, with Bitcoin printing a bearish piece of price action on the $40,000 level. So am I telling that this is going to be the top on Ethereum? No, guys. Most likely this entire resistance is going to cause a little turbulence with the price action itself before we jump onto these price points at $3,000 flat on Ethereum itself, right? You can see the relevancy of this level coming from these price points. We had a double rejection onto these levels, and then we went all the way down towards 1700. This was essentially a 35% move to the downside out of this one. So essentially, yes, I do believe that we are going to be reacting to this level to the downside, at least in the small time frames. Now, the only thing which I would be cautious about would be the fact that we should not start trending below the 21 exponential. That could put Ethereum's trend into a little jeopardy going on, right? And that won't mean that we are putting in a clear directional bias to the upside. All right, so one more thing, guys, one more thing. In the last video, I was talking about the fact that how this and this is crazy bearish divergence, guys, but nothing happened. Guess what? Nothing happened because we were still hovering alongside the 21 exponential moving average itself, right? So this brings me on to a point that only one single indicator, even if you're using indicators, one single indicator is not going to tell you the exact precise thing in the market, right? You have to have a culmination of things. You have to have a basket of indicators telling you one single thing, and your own system telling you one single thing that certainly this has. Let me just check if I'm recording or not. Oh yeah, I'm doing that. Holy shit, 14 minutes down the line, and now I remember to check this one out. Wow, man, this video could have been a complete garbage. All right, so yeah, coming back to the point right here, this is, I mean, any actionable event in the market is supposed to be a culmination of various things, not one single thing. Not that you see one single bearish divergence and you jump into a trade with your entire net worth for that short position, right? Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. You want to see culmination of indicators going on, and that could maybe put the price action in your direction or in your favor or in your bias as well, for that matter, right? So essentially for this one right here, yes, we were diverging crazy on the RSI itself, but essentially what happened is that you never left the support, guys. You never left the support. Essentially, you never started trending below the 21 exponential, which was a clear indicator that maybe Ethereum is going to pull away from you to the upside of these levels, right? So let me just conclude right here with Ethereum. I think we keep on continuing. Look, guys, look, let me just tell you one thing. If we talk about how Ethereum likes to trend alongside the 21 exponential 4-hour time frame, this is the perfect piece of example, guys. This is, I don't think things can get better than this one. If you want to talk about how an asset behaves alongside some key moving average or some key time frame, things can't get simpler than this, guys. I mean, check this one out. Immediately after the bullish engulf candle, one straight trend to the upside within your 21 exponential foundations, right? And that's crazy. And immediately after you reject this one to the downside, you start your trend to the downside, guys. This is how crazy Ethereum market participants are. Holy shit. so I think this is happening back again out of these levels, and until on the 4-hour time frame we are above the exponential 21, closing candles back to back above these levels right here. We're going to be going to the upside, guys. We're simply going to be trending all the way towards the upside. But once we start trending below the exponential 21, essentially that would be the point where I would start getting a little cautious about having any long position. And guys, it doesn't matter if Ethereum is not able to make our target all the way towards $3,000 levels. Once you start looking at the price action trending up below 21 exponential on the 4-hour time frame itself, that should ring some red bells in the first go, and then maybe you can evaluate the situation down the line, right? Alright, guys, pretty long video on Ethereum and BTC itself, I guess, and I hope you found value in this content right here. If you did, hit that like so that I know that you're engaging with the content, right? Alright, I will catch all of you in the next video pretty soon. Bye for now.